Welcome to the Iron Self podcast, where we jump into health, fitness, mindset, and becoming the best version of yourself. Today with your hosts, Mike and Kayla Minion. So welcome to This Week in Coaching. It is June 29th, and today we are talking about building new habits, routines, and lifestyle, and then fitting those new habits, routines, and lifestyle into familiar or old habits, routines, and lifestyles that we have.
Yeah, how do we integrate new things into our life without completely blowing up everything that we already have going for us?
Especially when, like, one of these things that creeps up a lot is summertime, right? A lot of people will change their habits or routines or the things that they normally do when we come into summertime specifically. And that is really because, I always explain summer is kind of like Friday. I don't know if you guys ever saw that commercial. It's like Monday is like sad and it's Monday. And it's like Friday. And that's really how I feel about summer, because winter is kind of sad and dreary. And then they're like, summer!
I love that you say that, because it reminds me of back when I was first a father, because I was always told, because dads are away working typically and moms are home, so moms are kind of like, moms are the weekdays and then dads are the weekends.
Yeah, exactly.
So welcome to dad time. It's summer. No.
So building new habits and routines is difficult, and there isn't a set time frame for it specifically. I mean, the old adage was it was like 21 days to change a habit, but the science doesn't support that as much anymore.
Science shows anywhere from 7 days for smaller habits and people that are really good at creating new habits, all the way up to 2 months. It was 63 days or something like that, which is insane.
Now, the thing to think about, though, is when we do establish new habits and routines, and then all of a sudden life gets hectic or stress happens or whatever, the first thing to go are the new habits, routines, and lifestyle behaviors that we've started on. Because it's just easy to fall back into those old patterns, those familiar patterns, those things that feel comfortable. That's the easiest way to explain it.
Things that make our lives comfortable, right? We are a series of our habits and routines. Everybody is. So just knowing that habits and routines that we've created over these years are going to be able to stick with us. The ones that are kind of hard grained into us. I mean, that's like Kayla and I, our workouts. When we miss our workouts, we feel like garbage. So then we make sure that we make time in our days for our workouts. That's something we do. But again, if you are new to workouts, if this is something like Kayla was saying that you're just starting, if you might be a month in, maybe a couple weeks in only, and then life explodes, the first thing to go is anything that we've just started, all of these new creations, these new habits and routines that we formed.
The easiest thing to think about is if it is easy, it is not changing you. If it is easy, you might be really stuck in your comfort zone. And so I say this, for example, I have been in a little bit of back pain lately because my hip's been out and yada, yada, yada. And so I decided, I'm not going to work out right now because my back is in a lot of pain and I don't want to make it worse until I can get the chiropractor to put it back in. And so this has been a story I've been telling myself, waiting for my back to start to feel better or time to get into the chiropractor. And it's easy to sleep in. It's easy to not get up for my workouts. But it's not challenging me. And it's not making me feel any better. It's not really making me feel any worse. I'm just kind of in the limbo. And so when things are not changing, and then I'm like, okay, well, if I don't do my workout, is that actually going to benefit me long term? And the answer is no. So when I start to change that story that I'm telling myself, I start to go through that workout routine, my back isn't worse. It's not better. It didn't change anything, but I still feel better overall, right? So it's easy to let those things go, even if they're long ingrained in you. It's easy to let them go and let them slide because, hey, I could waste an hour scrolling Facebook instead. I could waste an hour doing pretty much anything, especially if you are a parent. You will have a list of to-do items, and it's just about, those are the things that never get done, like scrubbing the windows and stuff like that. That never gets done.
Because if you're not a parent, you don't scrub windows.
I don't think a lot of people scrub windows. I think it's like a twice a year thing. Anyways,
Regardless.
I digress.
So when we are looking at creating new habits in our lives, we need to have a very strong reason why we want these new habits to begin with. So at the very base level, if you are looking to create any change in your life, you need a reason why. If you don't have that concrete reason, these are the reasons why I'm working towards this goal, we're more likely to fall off track, right? It's like saying, I want to be able to, whatever it is, I want to be able to bench 225 pounds. Sure, great goal. If you don't have that goal, then maybe you're not feeling like you're motivated to go to the gym. You're just kind of going to the gym to go through the motions. Yeah, I lift weights. I've been lifting weights for years. I don't feel overly motivated to do it. Okay, why is that? Why do you want to lift weights to begin with? Why do you want this lifestyle change to begin with, right? So when we are creating new habits, new routines in our lives, the first thing that I say to most people is you need a reason why you're doing it. You need to have that clearly etched into your mind, so then when you do have those days where you wake up and you're like, I could scroll social media, or I could get my ass out of bed and go do my workout. What am I going to do? Well, now I have these lofty goals. I have this reason why. I have this driving factor to create success in my life. So when we have these bigger reasons, this is going to help with that motivation. This is going to help establish these new habits and routines.
So the why is what comes into play when motivation dwindles. Okay, that's the easiest thing to think about when it comes to your reason why. Now, the other thing within establishing new habits, behaviors, lifestyle routines is what are your priorities and what are your values, and getting very, very clear on your priorities and values and how you identify yourself, how you see yourself. So when I say identify yourself, do you identify yourself as the party person? Do you identify yourself as the comedian? Do you identify yourself as, the person that prefers to be an introvert and away from other people? But how you identify yourself is going to play a lot into your priorities and your values. And so you might value family time, and you also might prioritize family time above and beyond everything else. So when we look at our priorities and our values, we need to understand that our priorities and our values are going to supersede any goal that you have when it comes to making a decision, when life gets hectic, whatever. So starting to, if my goal is this, then my priority is either A, achieving that goal, or B, finding some sort of compromise between my priorities and values that I already have and the goal that I want to achieve, and a middle ground that I'm willing to stick to.
Yeah, a good suggestion for that is pretty much exactly what you're saying there, is finding how you can meld your goal with what you do value within your life. And if they are a good match, then you're much more likely to stick to that goal, to stick to those new habits. Whereas if you're like, I identify as the party guy, I need to be the funny guy when I'm out, whatever that is, and then you say that you want to be working out because you want to pursue bodybuilding, or because you want to be that much stronger within your sport, whatever that looks like. But if your values and priorities say, I'm the guy who's going to go to the party because I want to be the life of that party, but then your goals say, I want to be able to dedicate myself to these early morning workouts, but you're too hungover to do the early morning workouts, you're probably going to have a hard time hitting those goals.
So one of the things we like to do with our clients is create a statement. So I'm the kind of person who, fill in the blank, it is important to me that, fill in the blank for what you value or prioritize. So I would be good with, and what is that middle ground? What is your
compromise?
What are you willing to compromise there? Whenever we're trying to create a change in our life, you need to understand that we are going to give up or let go of something, change something. So if we are changing something, what am I giving up? And when we are noticing behavior patterns constantly come up, knowing that behavior is serving a greater purpose. So if you're saying, I want to achieve this goal, I'm going to stick to my nutrition plan, whatever that is, and then Friday night rolls around and you've already counted a couple drinks into your plan, everything's good, and then all of a sudden you just have a fuck it moment, well, which happens, okay? Then what is your fallback plan? What are you going to do? Okay, well, I've already created the plan. It all went haywire because when I was drinking, I really just didn't give a crap. Yes. So the following morning, then you're like looking at it and you're going, oh, I wish I hadn't have done that. And all the regret comes in. So then the question to me that I give to you is, what behavior purpose did that serve? Oh, well, I was able to connect with my friends. I was able to let loose. I was able to just feel like
Part of the group.
part of the group, part of the social situation, or just like, I'm gonna just say, let everything go. Like, all of a sudden, all of the weight of the world that I've been carrying all week long, I don't need to carry anymore. If that is what this behavior is serving, then we need to find a new way to serve that purpose. Right? How else can we make you part of the group, or how else can we help you to feel part of the group? How else can we help you to feel that the world is not on your shoulders anymore?
The biggest one that we see with a lot of our clients is that Friday, Saturday, sometimes Sunday mentality of, well, I've been good all week. My friends are going out drinking, so I'm going to go out drinking with them. So it really does come back to, a lot of the times, for what we see with our clients, is going out and having those drinks. So the first thing that I like to start out with when we're talking to any of these clients is, are your friends really going to care if you are getting plastered with them, right? Like, if they're truly your friends, they are not going to care if you are drinking or not. They're going to support you on your journey, whatever that looks like. So realizing that and taking that out of the equation to start with is a great mental place to start with, because the reality is the real friends don't give a shit if you are drinking or not.
Well, and here's the thing. This isn't to say that you can't achieve your goals if you are drinking, but the thing is that most people don't stick within their plan of what they've planned out. So if you say, I'm going to have only 5 drinks this day, and you put it in your plan, everything's going to work out. Most of the time what happens is you get to your 5th drink and you're like, screw it, I'll have a 6th and throw in some cheesies while you're at it. And like, these are the other things that come along because we just have I don't give a fuck moments.
Yeah, fair.
And so this is what happens. So when we start to look at this, like we talked about, what is the purpose of that behavior? Then when we look at lifestyle long term, okay, I've started to make these lifestyle changes. They are reintegrating. It's summertime. And you know what? I'm going to a barbecue and I didn't pack any food and there's nothing but hot dogs. Okay, well, there's nothing wrong with a hot dog. If you want to enjoy a hot dog and you can make it fit, great. It's not an all the time food. I wouldn't eat a hot dog every day. But if it's a one-off, but if it's like every Friday, you're like, it's hot dog day. That might be a difference.
I don't think anybody has a Friday hot dog day. I hope you don't. Everybody
Your
listening.
aunt has a hot dog day. It's like scheduled into her weekly.
Hot dogs.
I'm
she has pizza. I know there's pizza day.
I'm pretty sure there's a hot
and
dog
there's
day.
a pork day of some sort.
Anyways, Mike's aunt has her week planned out, and it's super cute.
Love you, Aunt Karen.
Where each day has a specific meal, so you always know what you're gonna get. Anyways.
Okay, so incorporating new habits and routines into our current lifestyle. What does that look like for people, right? So you get this new habit. Let's just say, because we are the fitness weirdos, let's just say your new habit is you're running 3 times a week. You want to go for a run. Weird people run. Anyways.
And you go on vacation.
You go on vacation. How do you integrate that into your life? Well, you have 2 choices. Your first choice is, hey, I'm going to get up early still on my vacation and include my runs within that vacation. Regardless of where you are, guess what? Your feet are with you. You can go for that
you
run.
Still have your legs.
Right?
That's good.
Or the other option is, hey, I'm on vacation, so maybe I'm not going on my runs, but maybe I'm just looking at increasing my daily activity. So maybe instead of sitting by the poolside, maybe I'm getting up and walking the beach. Maybe I'm going down to the beach volleyball courts. Maybe I'm going on an excursion, adventure, a hike, whatever that looks like. Maybe it's not my specific run, but I'm still incorporating this movement into my day because I said I was going to. Now, the flip side of that coin is if you go on this vacation and you are like, nope, I'm not doing anything. You need to be okay with your decisions. You're going to still stay in this state of, I'm done for now, right? Like, you can get right back up where you left off, pick it right back up and get going again.
Now, the same thing goes with your workouts. 1 week off your workouts is not going to be the end of your world, okay? If you need a vacation or you're going away or whatever that is, 1 week off your workouts is not going to make or break you. Now, you might get a little stiffer. You might start to notice that your body feels a little different, but That might be where we just really focus on our nutrition when we're on vacation. Oh, I'm going to eat really good, really clean. I'm going to have a little bit of treat foods, but I'm just going to really stick to cleaner eating so that my body feels good. Maybe that we incorporate body weight training, and it doesn't need to be an entire workout. Maybe we're doing push-ups. Maybe we are doing some air squats, whatever that looks like.
Pick 4 or 5 body weight exercises if you know you're going to be away. So push-ups, air squats. You can do like a hip thrust or a hip bridge movement. You can do like weighted pulls off a table, so it's like a chin-up style, something like that. But you're hitting all your major muscle groups. It's not taking a lot of time, and you can do it anywhere.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Make those plans, backup plans, like we already talked about.
We have a fallback plan. If you're ready to make a change in your life, step into the best version of you, check out our Iron Self Transformation Program. Find more info on our website, www.ironbodycoach.com. The other thing to think about too is in this new lifestyle, we're going to a barbecue, we're going to whatever outing it is. How do I now make different choices than what I used to make? So we have a couple tools that we like to keep in our toolbox. One of them is bringing your own food, meaning bring something you can eat.
Bring something to share, yeah.
Or eat before you go. Knowing that hunger isn't an emergency. Or, hey, I want to go and I want to be there for this. I'm going to help other people roast their hot dogs over the fire. But you know what? I would just rather not put a hot dog in my body. Yeah. It's really up to you and how you want to fuel your body. You might just also choose to give yourself a statement to stop you from
I was going to say an agreement.
An agreement in that moment. So, hey, I can have whatever, like there's brownies on the table. I can have the brownies, but I need to have a solid protein source and a vegetable before I can have them. I'm not saying that I can't have them because no food is off limits. It's just I need to have these 2 things and then I can decide if I want that. That's once you eat those 2 things, then it's kind of like a reward for following through.
Another one that I like to do, I love that too, and that's something that we really do talk about a lot, is make sure you get a protein and a veg in and then enjoy something else. Sure. The other thing that I like to say is if you're feeling hungry, if you're like, oh man, I'm just so hungry, drink a glass of water first, right? Because a lot of times we mix up hunger for thirst. So
especially in the heat.
Especially in the heat. So again, in the summer, have that glass of water first and then have your protein and then have your veg. See if you're still hungry. You might not even be hungry. Kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. And then when we look at our lifestyle routines, being aware of what it is that we are doing is really important, and that relationship with yourself. And when we look at relationship with ourselves, it's creating a trusting relationship with ourselves. If you say you are going to do something and you do not do it, you are creating distrust with yourself. It's no different than saying to a child, if you do that again, you're going to be on timeout, and then you don't put that child on timeout. Do you think that child ever thinks that you're going to follow through? The answer is no. They don't respect that. So in order for you to start to respect yourself and love yourself a little bit more, you need to follow through on what it is that you say you're going to do. Mm-hmm. So if you say, I'm going to eat my protein and vegetables first, then do that. Because when you don't do that and you repeatedly don't do that, your brain likes repetition. It's like, hey, I never actually follow through, right? Where are my people at that are like, I never seem to lose weight. I never seem to stick to the plan. This never happens, because you're identifying yourself as that person. I don't have the commitment. I don't have the follow through. This is a story you're telling yourself and a way that you're identifying yourself. And when you identify yourself as that person, of course you're not going to. It's kind of
You've already made that decision in your mind.
Right? I mean, for years and years, I've identified myself as a non-athletic person.
Bullshit. She's athletic now. Look at her.
Look at me. I'm so athletic now. But it's kind of that story that you begin to tell yourself. So it's starting to think about, what kind of relationship do I want to create with myself? If I want to have that trusting relationship with myself, I need to follow through on it. I need to do the behavior that I say I want, and understanding why we want it, understanding why that behavior is important to you, and what the other behavior that you were having served. Yeah. Right? It might have served you at one point in your life, but it might not be serving you anymore.
A big takeaway from this too, guys, is that failure is a big part of any journey. So saying one thing and being like, I have this plan, I have my why, I have my new habits and routines that I said I'm going to do. there's a very big possibility that you may fail at this at some point. You're going to have a hiccup, you're going to have something explode in your life, and then how we move forward from these hiccups, from these times where we fell off is super important, because this is where we learn a lot about ourselves and how we respond to adversity, right? So if we say we want this new habit, whatever it is, let's say you want to wake up at 6 a.m. so that you can get up in time to read before your kids are awake. Great, okay? Now 6 a.m. rolls around, you hit that snooze button, it's 6:30, your kids are up all of a sudden. You do that a couple days in a row, so you're like, oh man, well, I'm losing this trusting relationship. Kayla told me that if I don't do what I said I was going to do, I'm lying to myself. I'm building distrust. Okay, so we start learning about ourselves. I always say this, you learn the most in your losses, you learn the most in your failures. So now we know, maybe it's not that I can't get up at 6 a.m., but maybe if we look at the other side of that, maybe we're going to bed too late. Maybe we're not going to bed early enough to facilitate that 6 a.m. wake up. So learning about ourselves, looking at the whole scenario, what can I make work here? Okay, this way hasn't worked so far, right? Maybe tomorrow I'm going to do something a little bit different, because I'm going to rejig it, as Kayla likes to say, and figure out how to make this work. So again, don't take failure as a loss, right? I heard a saying one time, it's like, I haven't lost, I've just found 10,000 ways not to do this properly, or something along those lines, and I absolutely loved it, because it was just like, it's so true, right? We learn the most in our failures, so let's figure out how we can win with this.
I want to say that was like Alexander Graham Bell or something like that, when he was creating...
Yeah, it was a light bulb or something. Anyways, whatever it was.
Yeah, anyways.
But the point is that we really do learn the most in our failures, so learning how to make the most of these, and actually, like Kayla said, paying attention, right? A lot of people just kind of live their lives, they run through it all, and then at the end of the day, they're like, well, shit, I wasn't even present within my own life, right? Like, as soon as you slow down and you start to pay attention to the way that you work through your life, the way your mind works, the way your body works, the way that you associate with certain people or certain situations, whatever it looks like, but knowing yourself very well, and then continually learning about ourselves. When we have those fall downs, when we have those hard moments, how do we move forward? Is that where we have to reach out to a friend and be like, hey, I'm having a really rough go here. Remember I said I had these goals. I haven't been able to stick to my plan. What do you think I might be able to switch here to create success in this moment, right? Reach out to people who might be more successful in that area of their lives than you are. It is always great to have somebody to bounce ideas off of. And it's really good sounding board if you have someone that you know, trust, and love, that you can say, hey, I'm having a rough go with this. What would you suggest I do? And maybe they know you well enough and they're like, it's because you're going to bed at 1:30 in the morning because you stay up reading at night. If you want to read in the morning, go to bed earlier and then you can read in the morning. It's really good to get that outside perspective, though, especially when we are creating those new habits and routines from somebody that really does know us.
And reach out to us if you want help. We are happy to answer your questions. We love answering your questions.
Quite literally what we do for a living.
And we want to make sure that you guys are successful. And that's why we do this week in coaching. That's why we have the podcast. It's really about helping you guys achieve more success in your life. Yeah. So the other thing that I wanted to kind of bring in here is that when we are defining or identifying ourselves, knowing that is not set in stone. And at any point, you can redefine yourself. You can re-identify yourself. You can change your likes and dislikes, but it is up to you to decide that. So your taste buds change every 14 days. So you don't like broccoli today. Maybe in
give it about 14 days.
2 weeks you do. Maybe just that constantly trying broccoli and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I do like broccoli. So knowing that it does take time for your body and for yourself to evolve, and then bringing in feeling, right? Nobody will ever remember necessarily your name or what it is that you did, but they will always remember how you made them feel. Mm-hmm. Right? It's the same for you. You will always remember feelings. That's how we ingrain things in our long-term memory storage. You know, if you can, sometimes it's a smell or a song and it can take you back to a memory and you can feel what you felt in that moment. It's the same thing when we are creating a relationship with ourselves and a new lifestyle. How does the food make you feel? How does the workout make you feel? How does the thoughts that you're having make you feel? Where in your body are you feeling these things? Maybe comparing. What did I used to feel and what am I feeling now? Oh, I am actually feeling better. I have more energy now. I wasn't feeling as good and energized before. When I do these old habits, I actually don't feel that good. These new habits make me feel better, and it's really important to me that I feel better. Oh, okay, maybe I want to do those old habits less. But when we focus on the thing that is the negative or the old habit that we're trying to get rid of, you're going to keep evolving that into your life. When we focus on the positive and the new habit that we're trying to ingrain and the why and the feeling and everything that's good about that, that's going to help that stick and the old habit will begin to slide, right? We had ice caps like last weekend on the way home from camping. And I was like, I love ice caps. I need an ice cap from Tim Hortons. And then I had an ice cap and I was drinking half of it. And I said to Mike, I was like, this thing is far too big. And he's like, what? And I'm like, and it's really sweet. And I don't particularly like it. The only thing I actually liked was the whipped cream on the top. And I'm like, well, my taste buds have changed. My thought process has changed. My idea of what I like has changed. So now I know next time I'm probably not going to get an ice cap.
Probably just get an iced coffee.
Right? I probably will get just a black iced coffee because that's what I enjoy. Yeah. But knowing that now, and I was resonating with a different version of myself. And this is where we get to learn about ourselves as we evolve forward. I also had a bellyache from it. The sugar rush from it crashed hard that afternoon. There's just so much to go into it. But I was paying attention to those biological factors, the way that I was feeling, thinking, all of that
interoception.
That interoception. And that is really what this is about. Most people, when they come to us, they want to lose weight. But what is it that you actually want? I want to feel better. I want to have more energy. I want to sleep better. I want to have better health. I want to build my immunity. Most people, it's energy and feeling better. And then we say to them, well, how do you define that? Well, I'll just know. Okay, well, if you're just going to know, you need to also pay attention to that, right? Because it's one thing to say, oh, I'm just going to know. And it's another thing to be very cognizant of it and aware of it. So I guess that's kind of the last piece I wanted to touch on.
Yeah. And then the only other thing that I wanted to touch on, just because this was all about creating those new habits and routines, is if you want to build more success with new habits, stack them behind something you are wildly successful with right now. So if you just, workouts are a great example. If you just pick a random time in the middle of the day and you're like, yeah, I'm going to do it at 3 p.m. for no apparent reason, the likelihood of you sticking with that, and I'm saying workouts because that's what we're obviously kind of what we do, but it goes for anything, right? So the most successful way to do it is to make it as easy as possible. So having it right in front of you all the time, whatever it is, so that you are focused on it, so that it is right there in your face, and then stacking it behind a habit that you are already really successful with. Because if you stack a habit on top of an already successful habit, you're going to do the first one that you're already doing, and then you're going to be like, okay, what's that next step? Oh yeah, it was this new habit, right? So then you're going to go from one to the other. It's like brushing your teeth. If you were used to brushing your teeth and you want to start integrating flossing in, just start flossing after you brush your teeth, because you're going to brush your teeth every night, and then the floss is sitting right there, so you just grab the floss and go.
When we look at summertime and when you're outside of that regular routine, maybe you still have a routine of going to and from work. Maybe you still have a routine of you eat food, breakfast, lunch, dinner, right? Maybe you still have a routine of, oh, I walk the dog every day at this time, or, oh, I read or call somebody, or I do these things at this time. That's where we're talking about it. So it doesn't have to be your regular 9-to-5 routine situation. Find something that you are consciously doing on a consistent basis, and then add it in there or schedule it into your program. Whatever it is in that way that you can start to really build on your already successful habits.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I got one more I did want to say too. I'm sorry, I'm just going on.
You can't get them to stop.
Love habits and routines. But so if you are putting a new habit routine, if you are working on creating these sustainable habits, beginning to identify, Kayla talked about this a little bit earlier, but really beginning to identify with those new habits and routines with I am statements, and then having them somewhere where you can see them and read them all the time. So if you are brand new to, again, I'm going to use it, working out, and seems like this daunting task, maybe you write down an agreement. I am the type of person who works out 3 times a week because it makes me feel strong, it gives me energy, and I love the endorphin rush I get after it. whatever that looks like. And then you have that printed or written out, and you're reading that whenever you can. If it's, it's in your car, so you're reading that and you're identifying with that. I am that type of person because I do love how it makes me feel, right? Or I am the type of person who makes more time for my family because I love spending time with my family, whatever it is, right? But identifying with it, reading it, as you read it more and more, it gets put into that reticular activating system. And when we see something all the time, it starts to become true. It starts to feel true. And our brains can't decipher the difference between reality and just a thought process that is creating that reality in our mind. And once we've created the reality up here, it starts to present opportunities to become real in front of us.
Now, make sure that I am statement feels true and valid. So if you are saying to yourself,
get you excited.
Yeah, it should make you excited. Don't feel like it's a lie. So it's like, oh, I am the kind of person who runs 5 days a week. If you don't want to be that person, or you don't think you can fulfill that, maybe you change the I am statement to, I am the kind of person who works on my cardiovascular training. Mm-hmm. That's a little simplified. That means that at some point I'm going to do cardiovascular training, right? But
that's why Kayla said that. She'd be like, cardio. Woo! I think not.
I am the kind of person who incorporates cardiovascular training into my routine. Like, that feels valid and true because at some point I might do that. But it doesn't make me committed to 5 days a week. So just making awesome. Sure that it feels valid and true when you are creating the I am statement so that you can resonate with it. Or posting them somewhere, putting them on your vision board. Maybe you have a reminder on your phone that reminds you of that throughout the day. There's tons and tons of different ways to start incorporating these new thought processes, because at the end of the day, your habits, routines, and the lifestyle that you lead come back to what is going on between your two ears. Mm-hmm. So whatever your thought is, whatever you're thinking, the story that you're telling yourself, all of that plays in. And so you are your own worst enemy. You are also your own motivator, your own successor. You can achieve anything that you want in this lifetime, but it is up to you to make a choice towards that. Taking aligned action. What are the actions that you need to do that are in alignment with your goals, your greater purpose, your vision for your life?
I love that you said choice. And that's a beautiful place to end this today. Everybody that's listening to this, everybody that's going to watch this in the future, you have the choice to live your life however you want. So stop giving yourself this victim story. Stop saying that you are not capable of doing absolutely anything. Switch the story in your head. Choose to do different. Choose to be different. Choose to live the best life you can.
Thank you guys so much for listening today. Hopefully you found some value in this episode, and we will see you next week for This Week in Coaching.
Have a great week, guys.